call.
Mr. Carriffy?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Present.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Mr. Peluso?
Present.
Also in attendance are Mayor Barbario, Township Attorney John Inglesino, the Business Administrator Ellen Sandman, the CFO Ann Cucci, and the Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings on July 25th, 2017 at 7:30 p.m. We have a regular meeting. Also on August 8th, 2017 at 7:30 p.m. we have an agenda meeting. We have the approval of the minutes. We can ask the council to review all the regular meeting minutes from June 20th, 2017. Presentation and reports. Mayor, do you have anything for us this evening?
Yeah, I have just two things. First of all, I'm sure everybody's aware now that Target came to Parsippany, was voted on last night unanimously by the planning board. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that vacant space, which was the Pathmark Shopping Center, is now being filled, which brings our vacancy rate for retail from down to 2%. So we're doing pretty well here in Parsippany when it comes to filling up spaces. Number two, tonight, council members, you'll see an ordinance in title only with regards to, I don't have the block in, let me see right here.
15.
Yeah, it's block 5.3, lot 1, located at 46 Gibraltar Drive. Last year, myself, Ellen Sandman, the chief of police, and Council President Lou Valori were negotiating with, at that time, the owner of the property to have a police substation up in the Powder Mill area. And we've come to an agreement, and that you will get a copy from the township attorney on that agreement. And if approved, I see a smile in the back, but if approved, we will have a police substation up in the Powder Mill area, which we've been working on due diligently with the owner of the property. So we finally come to an agreement.
Thank you. Mrs. Sandman, Business Administrator.
I'm gonna stand because I think I project better. I think I project without it, whether I stand or not. But anyway, one of the things I thought would be interesting is thank you, Mary Bazicki, for bringing us a wonderful intern. And I thought that this evening he could get a different perspective. Instead of looking this way, he'll be looking that way. And he's worked with us only for a short time, and you've done a wonderful job with our intern. And I said, you come to the meeting and actually be part of it. So any of the hard questions, I just want to let everybody rest easy. He's got the answers. So,
And just a side note, when we send the tax bills out, they'll be on his name.
yeah, right. So any complaints? And then I just want to say, we are family here. And I said, possibly could that be the mother and sister? And he said, I couldn't make them stay home. I said, you're a wise intern. You did the right thing. So they may take some pictures. So anyway, life is short. We have great news, things that the mayor just shared and other things that the council will talk to. So this is a good day, and it's nice to see young folks really interested in good government. So you have to behave out there somewhat because he's watching. So say thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
That's all I have at now. Okay.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
It's always great to have intern programs and to help our young adults find employment and look at what their future careers are. Ellen, is there any opportunity where other people can look at internships, and is there an application process?
Absolutely, yes, there is, and we can.
Is that online right now, or
it's not online as of now, but we will work. We'll work with. I'll work with Colette and
Great, that'd be wonderful.
to advise the council of the possibility.
Absolutely, great, nice work, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Inglesino, our Township Attorney, do you have anything for us?
No report.
No report. Chief Financial Officer?
Yes, I have a couple of things. First of all, the audit is done, and you'll see.
You're being recorded.
I'm being recorded.
Yeah.
For real?
So, yeah, it's still being recorded. You won't be projecting, but we want to make sure we pick
All right,
it
I'll
up.
make believe. Maybe I should stand. The audit is finished, and we have a corrective action plan for you to review. There's only 4 findings, which are very minor. Some of them are just a continuum of last year's findings that we're continuing to fix them. Some of them take time, so I think you'll see the answers to them. They're minor, in my opinion, but And then the other things,
Before Ann leaves that, one of the things that you have to have a history of and a remembrance of is when we came a couple of years ago, there were over 17 recommendations. Then I believe it went down to 14, and then we modified that to 11. So now with the 4, and as Ann stated, and when the council reviews them, I'm sure they've looked at a lot of the correspondence and the information that Ann has provided in the corrective action plan. However, 2 of them, as she has stated, are a continuum of we're improving, we're almost there to completion. So in all due respect, I would also echo what Ann said, and we actually have 2 audit comments. With a town this size being self-insured with 3 utilities, I think I want to congratulate her and her staff, as well as a lot of the department heads and the mayor and the council who work together with us, giving us the resources so that we can approve upon systems and the analysis of those systems. So we're turning a corner.
yes, you'll also see an affidavit. I think you're used to signing it. You'll sign, each one of you. In person, you have to have an original signature that'll be sent to the state, okay? So, yes, and it's a group effort, by the way. It's the whole town, it's the council, it's everyone. So I thank you for that. There's one other resolution I just want to mention, 2017-091. It's an emergency. It's not really an emergency, but what an emergency is when we do that is we passed the budget already, and then an unforeseen circumstance came up, actually a settlement with Morris Township, and we want to pay that right away. We have to pay it by August 1st, so it's just adding this amount to the budget. So it says emergency, but it's really just an amendment. Okay, I just want to mention that.
One of the things that we provided for the council was a historical, the data that produced this settlement. At the last meeting, they voted unanimous to approve the settlement. Part of the settlement was that we would be paying this $290,000 to Morris Township, and this is the culmination of that. However, it doesn't stop there. The better news, well, it's great to settle things, but the better part of the news is that we also have gone and awarded the contract that will remove us from Morris Township, taking care of our gallonage and doing it on, doing the having taken care of the 261 units that for the last couple of years have been going out to Morris Township. So we made sure that all the information was there from the point of the fact that there was an emergency back when, to the arrangements and the agreements and what we've been paying to Morris Township, to the part where we have a settlement that was agreed upon unanimously at the last council meeting, and now what we have is the finalization of the payment that is due because of the settlement, and lastly, the end result of, so where do we go from here? We hook up, we go through Greystone, and all the approvals are in, and the thing has been awarded. So I want to also commend Joe Beckmeyer, because if anybody has ever traversed the state of New Jersey and all its requirements and rigor, it was not an easy lift, but we did it, and we did it pretty much in record time, based on the fact of where we were when he first came to start this process. So I thank him too.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just have a few questions for you. In regards to the audit that was completed, we usually get a bound copy with managerial notes. The managerial notes are a little bit different than the corrective action plan that's in the resolution that's being presented next week.
I believe that was in with your bound copy, and in the back it has managerial notes.
In the back, the managerial notes, right?
Yeah, I believe it's back there.
So my question is, the corrective action plan that's noted in the resolution that we're not approving tonight, but looking at it, is that approved by the auditor? Has it been reviewed by Ms. Zavaccia and company?
It's been discussed. I mean, everything that's written on here.
And he's in agreement with it?
Yes.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you
Yeah,
so
you're
much. I
welcome.
appreciate it. Presentation and reports for Township Clerk. Mr.
No
Madden?
report at this time,
No
Council
report?
President. Thank you.
Okay. Township offices, committees, and reports. Do we have any, councilman? No. Engineering report?
None.
None. Correspondence. We have one correspondence. we have Ale Salih, who requests permission by the council to erect a particular type of mailbox in the township's right-of-way.
Council President, if I may, very quickly, generally, when you have township mailboxes, they just put them up in the right-of-way, but since he's requesting a specialty mailbox, he just had to assume the liability of any damage that would be incurred to the mailbox in the event that we have a storm or anything like that. So he did send me that in writing, so really, it's really just for the council just to approve this. If we can just get a motion in a second.
Okay, yeah, everybody should have a copy of what the mailbox or the proposed mailbox will look like in their packet. It's in compliance, it looks like, with other mailboxes in that particular area. So I'd like to make a motion to grant permission.
I'll make a motion.
Second, Grignani.
Mr. Madden?
Yes, we have a motion. Who made the
We have
motion?
a second.
And
Grignani?
second is Loretta. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Bids to be taken on July 18, 2017. We have the FEMA House Elevation Project, Phase 7 to rebid. There's no other bids to be taken, no other quotations, proposals, or qualifications. I'd like to open up the public hearing, if I can ask for a motion.
Make a motion.
Here, a
Second,
second.
Grignani.
Mr. Cliff?
A motion by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
The floor is open to the public. You will have a 3-minute time limit, and you'll be notified within 30 seconds of the time limit and once time is up. Public can come up.
Just for the record, Mr. Madden, our township clerk, will be keeping time this evening. There's 3 minutes when you do come up. If you can please state your name and address. Thank you.
Thank you for giving some of your valuable time. And
There's no microphone there.
I'm a bit hard of hearing.
Sir, could you state your name and address?
Himanshu H. Dave, that's my first name. Dave is my last name. I'm a resident of Parsippany. And I have thanked Mr. Khalid for doing my letters to the council. I have an issue, and I thought I'll bring it in front of the council and see if there's some way the council can help me. And I'm going through a lot of trouble with that house in Lake Hiawatha. But I don't know what you guys can do. If you have purchased some properties after Irene inside Parsippany Township, or maybe you can consider helping me out in some way. I would really appreciate it. I've tried all options. Tried to sell it, short sale it, everything, but just not working out. And reason were beyond my control to get back the house. So here I am, and I mean, something you guys can help me out with. But just a plea I had, so I wrote it down in the letter and everything, giving the full history of what I've gone through and why I am stuck with that house. And that's it. Thank you.
certainly-
I don't know the ropes. I'm here for the first time.
Yeah.
It's my new thing, but
Okay.
Do you have anything else for sir?
If you-
Did you
my
have,
hearing is low. Can I have one?
did you have anything else?
Do you have any other statements you'd like to make to the council?
name?
No, any other statements that you would like to make? Is there anything else you would like to
I
say?
don't know what to say. I'm here for the first time, but my statement is this: if the council can help me out in some way by buying the property, please help me out. That's my little request or humble prayer. I don't know. That's my little small statement. Thank
Um,
you. for
Thank you.
giving me your time.
Yes.
Mr. Paluso, I recommend, we just received the gentleman's letter tonight. I'd recommend that you take a look at it and confer with Ms. Sandman.
Yes.
And report back to the council.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dave. What the township attorney had indicated is that the administration will review the letter that we received from you with the picture of the home, and then we will get back to you. The administration will call you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming.
Thank you for your time, man.
Welcome.
Sir?
Thank you.
Sir, sir, I just want to make sure, these numbers are,
That's my mobile, you can
Okay.
call me anytime.
Okay.
That's my personal email.
Okay.
And I live by Intervale
yeah,
Gardens.
no, that's okay. And you have the address on here, so I can look it up? Okay. I just want to make sure I have the basic information. We'll do some research and then we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Anyone else, please step forward. Thank you, sir.
Glad there's no microphone there. Are they being picked up on your, being recorded?
That microphone's not even gonna pick it up, so I'm just gonna have to put it in the minutes, exactly what they stated. Well,
Okay.
not exactly what they stated, but, an idea of what they stated.
Hi, my name is Pat Venezia. I live at 102 Brooklawn Drive, and I have a couple of questions for the council. I'm just looking for ballpark information here. I wanted to know how much does it cost Parsippany to purchase the water from Jersey City that we have to purchase? I understand it's about 100 million gallons a year. And my second question is, why can't Parsippany reduce its budget costs by providing this water from our own wells rather than buying the water from Jersey City?
You can answer that, yeah.
Are those your only
Is there any questions you have?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I think I can answer
Ann's
that.
gonna answer.
What happens with, excuse me, with water is that the state has certain allocation rules, okay? Even if we have enough water in our own aquifers, we cannot pull from all those aquifers. So we may sell to some people and we may buy from others. So we may buy some water from Jersey City, we may sell, and we do, to the county. So it's not that we don't have enough supply, it's that we can't take it all for fear of draining our aquifers. It is not expensive per se. I could give you a number on at the next council meeting of exactly how much it costs. It's not a very high number at all.
The bottom line is the state of New Jersey required that Parsippany have an alternate water source. Required that we have an alternate water source.
Yeah, it's based upon the concept of redundancy. They want reliance on different water sources so that you're not overly reliant on just one water source, because if that one water source were to get contaminated, it'd be the water. So that's the concept. State concept, not something that Parsippany can control.
So the state is forcing us to buy the water from somebody else rather than drawing from our own well.
Correct.
Correct. And
Yes.
it's not just unique to Parsippany, it's all people that, Denville, Mountain Lakes, wherever you're pulling the water, well, not Mountain Lakes, but Denville, those that have a water source,
We
yeah.
have limits on the amount of water that we can.
Yes, you can draw from a well.
Alan, can you explain how many wells we have and how many are functional right now?
Wow.
14, we have 14
That's in the
wells.
water.
Yeah.
We
14
get that.
We have 14 wells.
14 wells.
14
I
wells.
have 30
Yeah,
seconds.
and they are all functioning. And I was asked one time where there was some problem issues, or not, very slight, and I did talk with the water purveyor, John Walker, and he advised, because of the nature and unfortunately the world we find ourselves in, we don't point out where all the wells are and describe it. It makes a lot of sense, unfortunately. Yeah, but they, our wells are. We have a very good water source, but we are mandated to have another, in case, God forbid, something does happen, as the attorney has stated. We need to have on target, hooked up, ready to go, for water.
Mrs. Venezia, although your time is up, do you have your phone number written down that the administration can call you back with the answer to your question as to how much it does cost?
Yeah, give it to Ann.
That would
and
be great
she'll-
if you can give it to
Ann
Ann. Thank
will-
you very much.
Ann will
My
give
pleasure.
you, how much we're paying.
Thank you. I'll get back to you. You're welcome. I need my pen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do it all the time.
That's how
Thank
she
you.
gets them.
Good evening, welcome.
Hi, my name is Bob Venezia, 102 Brooklawn Drive, and I just want to say, you know, if we had, you know, if Parsippany, if we had enough water, we wouldn't need, you know, Jersey City other than a backup, but we are using 100 million gallons of their water every year. So it sounds like we cannot service our 22,000 housing units without the help from Jersey City's water. So if we can't do that, if we absolutely need Jersey City's water, how can we possibly service another 12,000 housing units of affordable housing units and market value home, you know, units? On several occasions, Mr. Inglesino has stated that insufficient water capacity is grounds for obtaining a reduction in the affordable housing assessment for any municipality. By reason of the permanent water restrictions imposed by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection on our township for 4 months every year, and because of the need to purchase water from Jersey City just to make existing ends meet, clearly Parsippany cannot accommodate its current affordable housing unit assessment. So now I ask the council to commission Mr. Inglesino to petition the courts for a complete exemption from the current affordable housing obligation for the township of Parsippany. And now I'd like to hear your comments regarding the merits of this proposal. Thank you.
Well, first of all, your initial assumption is incorrect.
We don't need that water?
We don't need that water. We pay that as a minimum. And so our water department says if we're gonna pay for 100 million gallons, we're gonna use it. We pay for that water whether we use it or not. So the water department says we may as well use it.
And I would just say that, Mr. Venezia, that would be a complete, what you're suggesting would be a complete waste of taxpayer money. And I did not say that the number would be reduced. What I did say was that if there was insufficient utilities, whether it be water or sewer or whatever, then Parsippany would not be able to comply with its obligation, and it would then be eligible for what they call a vacant land adjustment. It doesn't reduce your number, it just gives you an adjustment. The number still stays there, and you may ask, well, why is that important or relevant? It's relevant because in 2025 there's going to be another round of COA obligation, and so, you know, your number would remain your number, but you wouldn't be obligated or in violation of court order or settlement agreement if you couldn't provide a reasonable opportunity for those number of units to be built, whether it be for a lack of vacant land or insufficient utilities. With regard to utilities and water, there's nothing that I have seen to suggest that Parsippany does not have adequate water to support future development. But in any case, the burden would be on, ultimately, the township would be obligated to cooperate, but the burden would be on the developer. My old town, Rockaway Township, where I served as mayor for almost 7 years, had a project called Pondview up on Route 15 and 80, that juncture there, and the township took the position for many years that the project couldn't go forward because there wasn't sufficient water, and in fact there wasn't sufficient water. But the developer was able to work out an arrangement with the Southeast Utilities Authority through Wharton to bring water in to support the project, and the project today is being built. So I think that, again, what you're proposing would be a waste of taxpayers' money. But if there were a problem in the future, which is unforeseen at the moment in terms of providing adequate utilities, you know, obviously those projects could not be built. The township would do all that it could, and the township's number would be whatever it is, and whatever's not built would just get rolled over into a future round obligation.
That's the time.
we think we have enough.
Mr. Venezia, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but time's up. I apologize.
Okay. But I would like to see the Department of Environmental Protection give us some kind of number of, you know, how much more can we draw?
They compute, the DEP computes the amount of water, and the township's water department is obligated under law to make reporting requirements to the DEP. And though that is very closely monitored by the DEP to ensure that the township has not only adequacy with respect to water, but also has what they call firm capacity, which is you have to actually have 3 times the amount of water that you actually need in order to be able to issue your permits to support new projects going forward. That's statewide. That's not unique to Parsippany. And water is a subject that is very heavily regulated by the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, Mr. Venezia.
Nicholas Homiak, Lake Hiawatha. I'd like Bob or the council to invite people from the Highlands Coalition, not the council, the coalition. Invite them here for an education, and you will see that there is not enough water. Parsippany has the 2 diversions, not one, not Jersey City, but Morris Municipal and Jersey City. And we do have a situation with Denville because one of their lakes were contaminated by dry cleaners, but we haven't sold them any water for a while. If you want to find out what's going on, and there's another, if you belong to the Highlands Regional Management Plan, you have a resource restraint, which under your consistency, you identify your resources and you protect them. Thereby your housing numbers become lower, because if you're paving over recharge areas and the water can't get in the ground anymore and you're taking more from the watershed from your diversions, eventually you're gonna put everybody into crisis. Or you may have enough water, but your water will be contaminated, so the expense will go up. Stop messing around and get the Highlands Coalition people here. Parsippany geographically belongs to the Highlands, and their citizens are being denied the fact that they could belong to this conformance, and it would benefit everybody, including legal shields. We wouldn't be able to be sued by developers. I'd like to make a brief thing here. Mr. Barbario says we're filling up spaces. You know what Parsippany's filling up spaces with? Trash. And that's what's going to happen with all these new corporate developments. I was in Ringwood the other day at one of their malls. Look at how beautiful that is. I can't name one mall in Parsippany that has a setup like this. And if you go to Lake Hiawatha and they have the recycle and municipal trash, look inside those cans. It's a mess. It's a mess. And when I remarked that Parsippany should do this, the response I got was Parsippany has 55,000 people and Ringwood doesn't. But you follow that logic, that means the more people you have and the more developed you become, the more lax you should be in sanitation, and you shouldn't care about your obligation to mandatory recycling. That's a ridiculous logic. And this town needs another sanitation officer. We only have one, and he does a lot of work, and we need another one, not 2 more police clerks that they hired over that limit. We need another, at least one.
That's time.
Sanitation officer, another one.
Thank you, Mr. Hornack.
Thank you.
Mr. Council President, I just want to correct the record, if I might, on a statement that I made relative to Mr. Venezia's comment. If you did have a situation where there is an inadequacy of utilities to support housing in connection with an affordable housing plan, you would take a durational adjustment. I think I used the term vacant land adjustment. Vacant land adjustment applies when you don't have enough land to meet your obligation. If you don't have the utilities, it's the same concept, they just call it a durational adjustment, not a vacant land adjustment. It's technical correction, but I wanted to make sure that I made it.
Council President, I would like to comment on, Nick, as you know, I do read all my emails, and I did take a real good look at what you provided. I was copied on the containers, and in fact, I took it another step in my mind. I didn't think you were pleased with the way that even looked, because I wasn't. And just recently, just a little while ago too, they've put out all these new receptacles that have the refuse on one side and the recycle on others, and they're costly, but we've got to start that process, and we do have clean community monies that need to be addressed that way. As you know, last year we purchased a sweeper type vehicle, which has done some improvement. I know it's not your ideal of the can and the broom, but it's serving a great purpose. However, you're absolutely right. We need to have address, and I'll be working with Colette, and when we put a committee together, I'd like your input on that committee. Yeah, I mean a group of people getting together.
More than 3 minutes, I was going to say something else.
Okay. We can talk outside. I can have the ears from outside, and we can, because it's serious, Nick. Because so goes the little things in the world and it's the town. So go the big things. So we need to address it. And I thank you for being out there.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
Mary Persicki, 273 Marcella Road. First of all, I know Ellen isn't going to like this because she never likes praises, but I want to tell you, Seth is a very lucky young man, and he's a very intelligent young person that you kind of wish every young person was like him. His parents did a phenomenal job, and he himself has an ethnic quality about him that you really can't beat. But anyhow, he is lucky to have a mentor like Ellen Sandman.
Thank you.
I am telling you, there is no harder working individual here, no more dedicated person here than her. And I know I haven't been to too many council meetings, but when I read in the paper that individuals come to Parsippany who don't know this town, I don't think, and accuse business administrators and administrators of events when they don't realize that the dedication that these people and she has. And I think it needs to be recognized. And maybe people who come here from outside need to go and look at their own backyard instead. But that's all I have to say, because I really admire everything she's done since she's got here. Everything.
Thank you, Mary.
It's because it's the truth. And other people do have that same respect. They really, really do. So you're lucky, Seth. You're really lucky to be in her office. If I have more time, I don't know if I do or not. But
30 seconds.
Okay, Wegmans. Who pays? They get our water, right?
Yeah, yes, they do.
Yes.
That's correct.
Who do they pay? Hanover or us?
For the
They
water,
pay
they
us.
pay us. It's our
Sewer, us too.
Yes.
Sewer, yes? Yeah, okay.
They pay us for water and sewer, but
For-
the ratables go to Hanover.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. And there was a situation with postcards that came into Lake Parsippany that I'm glad has been recognized by the township and the administration, that Wegman likes to have people from Lake Parsippany violate the law at Entrant Road and make an illegal right-hand turn when they're not supposed to. So I hope that has been fixed.
That's time.
I think
Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
the clerk should mention that. I know the mayor's here. Do you want to mention, Mayor, that you've worked that out? We're talking about the Wegmans, the turn. You talked about it today with.
We notified Wegmans, letting them know that the maps that they sent out to the residents of Parsippany, they were telling them to pretty much make illegal turns on Enton Road. Mary came to my office yesterday, and we straightened that out. So they're going to resend maps to take the proper routes to Wegmans. So I want the residents in like the Parsippany area to know that this has been handled.
Right. And because they were actually telling them to do an illegal turn, a
Right.
right-hand turn, which is, you can't wrap your head around that, but
Well, I
anyway.
don't think they knew. They didn't
Yeah.
know they
Oh,
had,
they didn't know.
they didn't really know
I think
Enton
you're being
Road like
kind.
Mary knows Enton Road, and we all know Enton Road over there.
Right, right.
You don't make that a right-hand turn, because you won't be pulled over by a police officer, you'll be pulled over by Mary. So,
Right.
but that being said, we made them aware, they apologized, and they said they would correct it.
So, it's done.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public that would like to come up and speak? Seeing no one coming up, I'd like to close the public session. If I entertain a motion to close, please.
Make a motion.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Status of adopted ordinances.
None?
If everybody can just read that, there's none there. Introduction, council can just read that. We do have second reading and public hearings. Paul?
Okay, ordinance number 2017:10, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, and State of New Jersey, amending zoning ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in order to rezone certain properties to the RCW Recreation, Conservation, and Wildlife Zone District. The notice for the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on June 15th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the June 8th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance 2017:10 be heard in its second and final reading by title only. Motion made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
This time, entertain a motion to open up the public hearing on this ordinance and this ordinance only.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
The floor is open for the public to speak on this ordinance only.
Nicholas Homiak again, Lake Hiawatha. I just have one question. Is there anything changed in the relationship? In other words, wildlife sanctuaries, they have, there's no hunting. It's a, there's nothing's changed as far as their policy about how they manage their land, right? Parsippany is not shadowing them.
This does not
And,
have to do with the wildlife preserve property.
It's a different property.
It's different
What property is it?
Glacier
This is
Hills?
Glacier Hills.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the...
It's okay.
That's okay. You saw RCW, that's why.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think he thought it was that because look at how they phrased it. Oh, here, I think the wildlife zone just got them.
Hello, I'm Kendall Martin, 17 Tarn Drive, and I was interested in getting some information on, with this shift in zoning, will there be a process of evaluating current usage? There's a lot of the properties around that open space are, 10 feet, 15, 20 feet encroaching on that, and it's been a pretty minor issue. No one's really been concerned about that. Are we going to see a different approach to managing that land, or is it just in terms of some other aspects of it that would be managed differently?
Did you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. No, this is not property that is owned by the township, so the township does not manage the property. That's for the owners of the property. This just simply changes the zone, which regulates what can or cannot be built on the property or how the property can be used, but this has nothing to do with the management of the property.
Okay, so it's just, it precludes certain kinds of development.
Correct. It just regulates the use of the property, how the property can be used. That's what it does.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks everybody, and I'm sorry I'm a little late to the party. My name is Laura Hutcherson, and my mom, who passed away a few months ago, lived at 26 Moraine Road, and I'm the executrix for her property, and it backs on the property that we're discussing here tonight. And overall, I think this is a phenomenal idea if you've ever spent any time in that neighborhood. You know, I used to live in San Francisco, and this is the only place in New Jersey where I see as many people walking and biking. It's a phenomenal use of the land. My only question is, it's probably similar to the last question, does this allow public access of the land because it's for recreation or anything like that we don't have to provide a parking lot for like anybody that wants to come march around in the woods there, do we? Or is...
No, why don't you finish your questions and then I'll address them, just so.
That's really just it.
Okay.
It's similar, like, you know, people go fishing there now. I just want to know if now we have to provide public access to that property by
No.
zoning it this way.
No, you do not. You don't have to provide any access. This zone, all this does is regulate the uses that the property can be utilized for. That's it. It doesn't impose any obligation
Wonderful.
on the
Okay.
owner to do anything.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, Laura. Sorry to hear about your mom passing as well.
Oh, thank you. She loved it here, so it's okay.
Great, glad to hear. Thank you.
I'm Judy Hernandez, 5 Moraine Road, Glacier Hills.
As you write it, you're saying it.
I know. For those who came up and asked questions, this is a great thing for Glacier Hills. This helps us manage our private property better. So that's why I'm here, to say thank you. And we should have done this years ago. But it's going to help us, like many other communities in our area. It's just getting harder to with the taxes and the upkeep. So everybody's psyched. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
All right, see no one else come forward. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Mrs. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Ordinance number 2017:11. A bond ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey, the Township, providing various capital improvements in and for the Township, appropriating $10,162,703, therefore, and providing for the issuance of $9,654,568 in general improvement bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the cost thereof. The notice for the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on June 15th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the June 8th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept the ordinance 2017:11 be heard in its second and final reading by title only by Grignani.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Grignani, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public hearing 2017-11. A motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2017:11.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
The floor is open for comments from the public on this ordinance only.
Nicholas Homiak again, Lake Hiawatha. What are the improvements? And do they have anything to do with development that's taken place in the town? In other words, are these improvements related to a developer's?
No.
What are they? It's like the other ones, there was no block lot, that's why I thought it was, I didn't know what it was, I assumed it was Troy Meadows. I'd like to know the block lot of the land, but what are these improvements exactly? It just seems too general.
If I can ask Ann.
I'll answer that somewhat, Nick. There, in the ordinance itself, actually in the budget, when we did the budget hearings, each department had an area for capital. I think you were here for all that. Every one of those items is in that ordinance. So you have street improvements, trucks, sanitation trucks, roofs, all kinds of things. So it's the whole town. That particular one is just the township, not the utilities. Each utility is separate. So if you'd like to see any of that, please come by and I'll be happy to provide that.
It's the general capital,
Right.
all the capital ordinances that we need to do are doing, not anything to do with any kind of other buildings. It has to do with public works and police and things of that nature. So that's what it is.
One
and,
other-
again, Khaled, I'm going to ask it again so we remember and remind ourselves. The document should be attached. There should be a list so that we cannot. I can't remember everything. Ann can't. If that should have been. It should be on here. The copy of the ordinance should be here.
When you say a copy of the ordinance,
The ordinance should be all broken down. So is the copy of, do you have a copy of the ordinance there?
ordinances
Is
are
it
there,
there?
yeah.
Section 3 will tell you everything you need to know. If you go to section 3 on a capital ordinance, whether it's general, water, sewer, or, that's, okay, because we had this discussion.
Copies
and
are there.
it's there.
Copies are
So
all
if
there
you
for the
look
public.
there, now you know where to look, Nick and others. You will find in detail all the things need to be listed as to what we're spending, $10 million on, okay?
It's also in the advertisement. I think you're looking at the advertisement
that's
that
what they're looking
describes
at.
it.
Yes, that's correct.
Notice here it says artificial turf. I should have. Where did it go?
just so we're clear for the record, that anytime we have a second reading,
Right.
you will have the ordinances out here. So please, for members of the
Yes.
public, please be sure to pick them up. So this way you guys have information before you're coming up and ask any questions.
In regards to the budget, Ellen, do we
Yes.
have it already posted online?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been on.
Okay,
It's
so
been
so
on
and
it's
the order.
there as well.
It has been on
Everything.
there.
Okay, so online you can open up the budget.
Yeah, and you'll
There's
Yeah.
is it the user-friendly budget or the complete?
Both, everything.
Both. You can open up the budget, it'll give you every line item that's there, aside from what the clerk has provided this evening.
And again, we're here to share information and to make sure you know where it is. We're trying to improve what we do and what we offer, and we want you to ask questions, and we want you to say, it's not to chide you and say, oh, you should have looked at, no, we wanted to make sure we are providing it. We want to make sure that we provide it in many forms. Oh, well, I know, you sound like you have a cold, but even if you're under the weather, the thing is, we can't say it enough and be more, I hate the word transparent because it gets overused, but we should be and are letting the public know what we're spending $10 million on. I think you should know
Absolutely.
what the items are. And I appreciate you asking,
Yeah.
because it needs to be, Thank you.
Excuse me. Seeing no one else come up, motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2017-11.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes. The floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereof. Now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Grignani, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
That's everyone. Yeah, I get confused because we're missing one person, so motion passes.
Mr. DePiero? Ordinance 2017:12.
Ordinance 2017:12. A bond ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey, the Township, providing for various sewer utility improvements in and for the Township and appropriating $2,475,000 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $2,475,000 in bonds or notes of the Township to finance the cost thereof. The notice for the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills on June 15th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the June 8th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
The floor is open for this ordinance only.
Bob Venezia, 102 Brooklawn Drive. I've got a little problem with this bond order. The first bond ordinance, you didn't have enough money in the general fund, so you needed the bonds to do whatever projects they were supposed to do. But in this case, the sewer utility, it seems like a shell game. You're taking $2.4 million from the sewer surplus, moving it over to the general budget, and then you're bonding for the same amount in the sewer utility. You know, it's just a shift for what reason, I don't know. Well, I do know, never mind. And you say, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is if you have this surplus that could have been used, that surplus that's in the sewer utility is only getting like 0.3% of interest. When you bond, it's 10 times that. It's 3%. So in the long run, it's costing us, the people, the taxpayers of Parsippany, more money. I can't maybe they can quantify it. I would say it was probably, I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars over how many years. But anyway, it's costing us more money, and I just don't see, I see negative, I don't see the benefit. Just pay it out of your surplus and be done with it. That's my opinion.
Ann is chomping at the bit, but I will respond first. First of all, it's a utility, so it does not affect the taxes. What does affect the taxes is that we did utilize some of the surplus not in excess, but say the 2.5 or whatever it was at this point. It's, millions of dollars. However, in the fund balance, there's right now over $9.9 million. We can also, yours going like this, and that part's good, where you start to lose your thought process is, when we do a capital ordinance, that doesn't mean we're going to go out to bond it. We don't go out, we haven't gone out for bonding in this town for a long time. We're looking at it this year. Secondly, you can sell notes on it. The third thing you can do is you can pay it off with your fund balance. So therefore, you're utilizing the money in the most efficient way, giving benefit to the taxpayer, but on the other hand, paying down the capital ordinance so that you never go into all that interest it's still, if you look at the market, notes are still out there for very little. We pay very little for our money. Ann, if you want to add to that.
I'm just going to talk about capital. The thing about paying for this particular bond ordinance over time is that you're not paying for it, you, the taxpayer, today. We're giving it to the people who live here. It has a 14.17-year useful life. That means it gets paid off by the people who are using it for the next 14.17 years. That's the theory behind going out for a capital bond ordinance like this, because that's useful life. If I take the money today and pay for it, the future people don't have to. It's spreading out equally to the people out there, to the residents in the future. Because if you pay for it today and leave, then the future people are not paying their fair share into the capital. That's kind of how that works.
And the other thing is being paid off by the fees that the people that are here utilizing the sewer utility. You know, it's a technique. It's a good policy. It's a sound policy, and we're not expending all the fund balance in one particular time. And the other thing, you know, is you do realize that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but,
I don't mind that
yeah.
if you're saying that you don't have to issue the bond, I'm saying
Yes,
fine,
yeah.
authorize them, but don't issue.
Okay, well, that would be our game plan
Yeah.
anyway, because okay, appreciate you taking that to the bank. Because that's our plan.
That's what we've been
That's a
doing.
financial plan. And note, just for the record, just so, you know, it's a learning experience. This utility and all our utilities at this point are all fully funded. They're fully liquidating and fully supporting. That means that the $1 million or so that we need to run the day-to-day operation of the sewer plant is being paid, right? Cash? No, you know, it's coming right out of the fund balance. We're paying for it in the operating costs. We're not, you know, trying to play any, you know, it's not fully funded. So we're fully funding it. So that's the other part of it. And over the years, even the short time we've been here, we have done a combination of financing some and then also bonding for some, because it gives us, it's the only tool we have left to make sure we keep a healthy fund balance. It's a long story, but yeah, a lot of, that's what it is.
Seeing no one else?
Okay, seeing no one else, motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Peluso?
Yes.
Motion passes. Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Peluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance number 2017:13, a bond ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey. Township providing for various water utility improvements in and for the township and appropriating $1,075,000, therefore, and providing for the issuance of $1,075,000 in bonds or notes of the township to finance the costs thereof. The notice for this ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on June 15th, 2017. This ordinance was introduced at the June 8th, 2017 agenda meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance 2017:13 be heard in its second and final reading by title only. Motion made by myself.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Peluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
This time, make a motion to open up the public hearing for ordinance 2017:13.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Peluso?
Yes.
The floor is open for the public on this ordinance only. Okay, seeing no one else?
See no one else, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2017:13.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution made by myself.
Second, Grignani.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance number 2017:14. A bond ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, New Jersey, the Township, providing for golf course and recreation utility improvements in and for the Township and appropriating $2,865,000